Kia ora team, welcome to DayZ Tips. This is part of my series on navigation, and we've previously talked about things like using the compass to navigate. So we've got the compass here, and I've got my compass headings, and I know where I'm going. And we've obviously talked about the tourist map that you can use, knowing sort of roughly where you are and where you're heading as well, and that kind of thing. In this case, I'm heading to that um, camp there, which is labeled Pomowaka. Um, you can see it's got a medical clinic and it's a camp and it's some good things. And there's a red trail, and I'm on this red trail leaving Radio Zenit, which is down there, and I'm heading up there, and that's probably one of my keys for my advice on this is these trails. Striking off through the wilderness and especially striking off through the woods can be quite tricky. You can quite easily get turned around and lost, even with a compass. And this is a trail marker, and I've done a thing on trail markers before that you can go and have a look. So I guess, in a relatively short tip, one of my tips for navigation is have a look at where you're going. Is there a trail? We have roads, obviously, that we've talked about before, and if you wanted to go up here to I think that's the Devil's Castle, isn't it, up there? Following that road up there. But we've got this red trail, and you can follow that red trail. We've got a green trail, and you can follow the green trail and the blue trail. So there's the three kinds of trails that match up around the area. I suppose the FYI with the trails, my understanding is that you have these three levels of difficulty, with green being the easiest in terms of, I think, general, what are we going to call it, like effort topography. I'm not sure. Blue being slightly harder and red being the most difficult. Because I've also considered the fact that a lot of these trails do come close to wolf spawns. So you do need to be aware, while you're navigating along these trails, you need to be aware of the risks of wolves while navigating along trails. I can't really honestly say that I've noticed a significant difference in the likelihood of encountering wolves on a red trail versus like a blue trail, for example. But it is something to be aware of, and in that case, there are ways to deal with wolves. But when you're going along these trails, always keep an eye out for places where you can seek shelter from wolves. You can climb obstacles. There might be wood piles, there might be various other things, so while you're navigating, keep an eye on that. Or there may be some of those camping trailers or whatever you call them that you see around, the kind of the bluey trailer with the steps that lead up into it with a door that you can shut, that the wolves can't get into, and you can maybe shoot out the windows and things. But yeah, my tip would be, where you can, find a trail, follow that trail, be diligent with that trail, and when you get to significant turning points and things like that, that it curves over to the right, that you're kind of following where you're going. One of the other keys you might think of, as well as trails, is obviously rivers. If you're in, say, this is, I think, Ratno, and you want to get up here and you want to follow this way up, and you maybe don't want to go as far as the red trail, instead of just striking out across the wilderness and probably wandering around and getting lost and bumping into wolves and all kinds of things, find that river course and follow that. Now, I have also mentioned before that just because it's marked blue on the map doesn't mean it's actually got water in it. It may just be a gully that's dried out. But if you find it and you can follow it, then you can mark your progress and follow your way along it till you get to where you're going. So yeah, so that would probably be my other tip. My first series was about salient landmarks, using the map checking out the woods. You know, obviously I've now come out into a cleared area, so I can go and look at my map and say, well, I've come out into a cleared area, which means I'm right there. And I'm about to head down, then we're going to take a right turn, and then we're going to strike off, and we'll do a left turn, and we'll strike up, and then we'll reach Pamushka, or whatever it is, right up there. So that's the landmark aspect of things. But also, you know, make life easy. I mean, sheesh, there's enough things going on in DayZ. You know, and on trails you can find stones real easy. If you want stones, you can throw stones to distract infected. You can make stone knives if you want to. And as you're going along the trails, sometimes you can hear animals. So you can hear there's deer somewhere off in the woods. So if I was in need of getting some food, I could go and do that. Again, being aware of the possibility of wolves. Yeah, but keep the navigation easy. It is, once you get into there, even if you have a compass, remember that the compass only tells you relative heading from where you are. It doesn't give you an indication of where you are. So you can say, I'm stuck in the middle of the woods, I know I'm heading north, but that's great, but you don't know where in the woods you are, so you don't really know where you're going to pop out. And you won't know until you pop out of the woods and then take your bearing from landmarks, because once you get into the woods you can't see, so seeing landmarks and seeing things can be quite difficult, so you just need to be aware of that. So there you go, that's my my second tip for navigation. These trails, they are really handy things. Make use of them. Yeah, they're good things to help you get around. Ta-ta for now.
PlayStation